Solo women travelers and those women who are spiritual, plant-based, I have something for you. So stay tuned, watch this video until the end because I have some tips for you. Thank you so much for joining me. So today we are talking about the tribe and the vibe when you are out here traveling as solo women, right? So, are you looking for that community? Are you looking to be a part of that high vibe tribe of women who do travel solo, but also want to connect with women on another level um, who travel, who actually get out and make this thing happen. We've overcome our fears. We made it a priority to get out there and travel solo, and now we are looking to see, okay, who else is doing this and to see how we can collaborate. This is what this video is about. Um, a lot of little sacred tips that you can take with you while you're traveling. So, yes, hashtag global freedom journey. This is about our global freedom journey and returning to self. So, I remember before this journey began, just being a part of that corporate world and that cubicle life. And I had to let it go. I remember thinking the life that they tell you about success, the office, the calendar full of appointments, all of that was seen as success, but it often felt like a caged version of success. And I knew that there was another option, that there was more freedom in getting what I needed for my soul and for my community, right? So, as a transformational coach, I did step out. I transitioned from that corporate environment into my own entrepreneur journey and started to really take my practice on the road. So that led me to like this reflection, this reflection time that I had to give myself on the journey to really step back and honestly look at how I felt and what I needed. And I could just remember getting to the point one day where I was looking at myself and I really couldn't recognize myself. I didn't feel like who I am today. It didn't feel real to me. And I was just thinking I had to do something and I had to refuel myself spiritually. I was just spiritually depleted. I didn't have anything really feeding me. I was just going with the day-to-day things that was told to do that I felt like were right for me. And it led me to gaining a lot of extra pounds that I eventually lost. I did lose over 125 pounds in less than a year. Once I really decided to commit to this journey, and I couldn't get it off any other way. I really couldn't. So I will share more about that in another video. But today I want to just remind you to be honest with yourself and to make sure that you're checking in with yourself. If you feel that call, that tug to travel, and even though you're thinking, I don't have anybody to travel with me, there's nobody else, travel, be brave to travel as that solo woman on this journey, and you will find parts of yourself that you didn't know that were tucked away in there. Your voice, your truth, just parts of you that you'll pick up by being in different environments, being in different communities. So I was hungry for it, and you have to really be hungry for it. You have to be willing to say, I want something more than just a career win. I want a win for my soul, for my spirit. And for me, it was more about helping my sisters overcome the limitations and that were put on them, the expectations from the people in their community to tell them what they could and could not do. There is an expectation that travel is only for a certain type of group of people, a certain lifestyle, and that this is something that you can't do. And those are all just limiting beliefs. Once I got rid of those and I started to travel on my own, it got easier and easier to make this lifestyle real. And I have been traveling as a nomad for the last 10 years. And I've lived in over 13 different countries in that 10 years. So it is very doable. So I wanted to help my sisters make sure that they got over those insecurities and that they picked up on the different cultures that will help them fuel their confidence and help them feel more rooted in a culture that they could actually identify with, that they actually felt proud of, something that fed their soul on a different level than the North American, USA type of vibration. We wanted to really move beyond that and above that into who are we as beings and beyond how, yeah, make sure you get that passport and make sure you use it. But beyond having that identity with that passport, who are you and what are you capable of globally, right? And so those are the questions I started to ask myself, and I eventually started to help other women ask themselves that. But um, when my journey first began, I was, thought of as the eccentric woman out there, just kind of being wild. And in this journey seemed being deemed as the wild thing to do, and the unthinkable even. But uh, buying that one-way ticket to the Caribbean for the first time was just life-changing for me. I originally first went to Dominica. Before I went to Dominica, I took a trip by truck. I had a Dodge Ram at the time, and I was driving, and I drove across the border from the States into Mexico, and ended up in a very spiritual place called Palenque, and I was so called to it, like it literally called me out of the States, and I drove across the border and just and it just really changed my life. I could tell you things about this place, but it's really what it calls you, how it calls you on the journey. But for me, Palenque, Mexico was like this place. I later found out that like it was this hydraulic oracle space, and when I was there, I could tell that it literally elevated my frequency, it elevated my mind, body, and my soul, and I could just feel it in all my chakras, especially my crown chakra. And it has a lot of ancient Mayan history, so I knew that I really felt close to the Maya people as my ancestral lineage, because they are cosmic souls like myself, and so I really felt drawn to that energy, and they knew that before I really started my journey, because this is well before I started um, that 10-year journey. That was the first place. I had took a trip before, but I wasn't solo. This Palenque, Mexico was the start of my solo journey as a woman, and I stopped there, and little did I know that it was going to help me regain a lot of my personal power and really make me like this ignited force of confidence and feeling secure. It ignited like my protectors and my guiders on the journey. Now it was there were things that were really rough, but I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I had spiritual protection, not physical protection, because I'm solo and I'm out there on my own, but I had something with me, and I just feel so divinely connected to know that my tribe, my high vibration tribe, is rooted more than skin deep. And they were really there energetically to make sure, like, no, you got to go to Palenque. You got to go to Palenque first and get your spiritual activation of protection first. And I did. And from there, then I was able to bravely make a flight to Dominica, which is the nature island in the Caribbean. And I spent a lot of time there. Very volcanic, very infused with lots of plants and different exotic fruits, different jungle life, if you will. It is just so diverse with the species that they have there as well. And I enjoyed it. I just really felt the connection, the pull with regaining my confidence in Mother Nature and really feeling that call. It was the first place where I danced. I remember myself dancing on the beach and just really reconnecting with my body and my divine feminine essence in a way that I hadn't done in 10, 15 years prior to that. So, yeah, when you take this journey, you're going to find places like that. For me, it was the Caribbean and it was Mexico that really started it. But I really want you to pay attention to what you need. I am a vegan. And I eat a lot of plant-based food. I need that high vibe food, and I struggled with that in the States. So I needed something that was going to keep me powerful and keep me strong, mind, body, and soul on that journey. So it was really nice to have fresh fruits and vegetables right off this tree. I could talk with people in the local market and they could recommend the local exotic fruits. I remember, my first breadfruit, falling in love with callaloo and getting soursop and all of that, those exotic fruits. Eventually, when I went to Jamaica, they have all of that. Dominica has it too. You have to ask for it. It's there. And but the Jamaican big toe fruit was like the craziest thing in my whole 10-year journey that I've ever eaten. Like, so if you're brave enough to partake, ask in Jamaica about the Jamaican big toe tree. It's just a big tree, and she has these brown pods that grow on her, and inside that pod is like this potent fruit puff thing. Is so exotic. It's so rare, but it's so delicious. And I ate so much of it. They make it into a juice. So sometimes if you're not like about that life like me, I love plant-based things. I love exotic. I'm not scared to like at least try it. Because it is very scary. It is a very scary fruit. So if you're scared of it, no worries. Just ask them to make it for you in a juice, and they'll be glad to do They have really good hospitality most of the time, especially if you're in amongst the plant-based community. So make sure you get with those who really go deep into the ISO foods there in Jamaica and in Dominica. Ask for local fresh ITIL food, and you'll be good if you're plant-based or vegan. So I went on a whole spiel just to connect with you. I want to connect with you on this journey. So I want to share my stories with you, but I also want to make sure that you got practical good tips out here as solo women on the journey. Okay. So I want to share some tips with you that I recommend and that work for me. So as plant-based women, like I said, you want to make sure that you keep it high vibe. And for me, this journey was really about rebirth and making sure I find myself on this journey. So, making sure that you have a clear idea of what you want to find on this journey, what you want to discover about yourself. Like I said, for me, it was that plant-based love. I wanted to fall in love with food. I was always a food lover, but now that I've transitioned from just a food lover to a plant-based food lover, I wanted to reconnect with things like I said, the callaloo stuffed patties, and the lentil stews, all of the exotic fruits and vegetables that I could find where I was going. So for you, find what it is on your journey that's going to keep you fueled, is going to keep you going, because it is tied to your true soul identity that's going to keep you going and keep you moving in the right direction. That way, you always find the right people, you find the right communities, whether you're searching online, you're talking to people in the local market, or you're finding a sister circle to connect with. Know your inner truth of what you want to find on this journey. Number two is make sure that you have a safety ritual. Make sure that you can download offline maps so that you can navigate things easier. But always make sure your mind is in the right place first. Always know that you are safe, and don't ever travel based off of fear. Tie Tap into that feeling, that gut feeling. If it's something feels off, then scratch it off the list. Always do that to be safe on this journey. Do a little research about what's going on in the communities before you make the flight, just to see what the consciousness is and what they're entertaining there before you get there, and to see if that resonates, if you want to vibe with that. If it's all cool and you feel it in your soul, and your soul is like, yes, you're going to get something from this. This is why we do our meditation as spiritual women, to make sure that we are tapped into that. So if you are going from that corporate environment of go, 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 make sure before you book a flight or decide where to go, that you do some inner work and you do some stillness to see exactly where your soul needs to be fed in this global journey, this global freedom journey, okay? Because you're starting it. You have had women pave the way, and here we are to share with you. So number three would be, yeah, for me, it was about that eco luxury first night as a solo woman. So I would highly encourage, I always encourage for you to look for that, like green key, um, eco-friendly labeled um, travel nuggets when you are traveling, to make sure that, yeah, you getting a luxurious experience, but it's also eco-friendly. So definitely, I'm going to do a separate video about how to spot different eco-luxury places, so that you can travel in a conscious way for the planet and for the environment. But having a very cool night in an eco-luxury place is highly recommended. And it also helps you go again to transition from that corporate environment, that work, 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 go, 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 hustle and flow, to just like infusion into eco luxury, um, nervous system recalibration, right? And so that's what you want to do. You want to move out of that and kind of get into your island mode, so that your system is not in a complete shock. So really go for that first night to change the frequency and elevate it, right? And then it's also good to use apps. So Happy Cow is really good for vegan travel. Some, maybe not so much in the Caribbean, but in other places that you may go. In the Caribbean, you can navigate with limitations. Google Maps. Google Maps has really led me to some cool places, like in Barbados, to show me local idol food. But a lot of the times you have to tell people that you want, like, hey, the where are the local, if you say the local vegan spots, they don't really understand that. But if you say, like, okay, where's the Rastafari food, idol food, they know, they understand that. So make sure you say plant-based, idol, or Rastafari eccentric foods, okay? Plant-based, local, off the tree food, and they'll know what you're talking about, okay? And so that's a tip for those looking for more local experiences that, like I said, are really gems, but are tucked away to where they can be kind of hard to find in the more humble environments. So if you really want that, you have to ask because it may not be as obvious as you think, and you could miss out on some really cool places if you don't really ask. So make sure you got a survival kit on your journey. So if you have your crystals, I always have my essential oils. I never go anywhere without my essential oils. So I stock up on that before I leave to make sure you have your, at least always have your top three crystals. You have your top three essential oils and any other thing that you really need. Sometimes it can be hard to find like vegan protein powders that are, affordable. So make sure, I would say, if you can travel with that, it can be kind of difficult to travel with that sometimes, but if you can, um, you would want to travel with that as much as possible too, just in case you run out, depending on how long you are able to travel. So I like to stay places from anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months or more. And so, it could be really difficult finding those things eventually around town. But I just want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I want to make sure that I put a call out there for the solo women who are out there on their travels. Don't do this. You don't have to travel lonely. I want you to connect with your spirit. This is your time as solo women to check in with your spirit, your soul, your guides that are surrounding around you, to build up your confidence and know that you are protected, know that you are out here and you can be a confident traveler by yourself. But we also have us as community. There are other solo women that you can connect with who believe in the soft life, who are out here. I am crowned as the royal nurturer, the royal lover. So I love to connect with other women who identify with that. And yes, we do. I want to be in collaboration with you. I'm already co-hosting a retreat with another woman, and we are building a community online of women who want to nurture themselves, nurture other women, be engulfed in Mother Nature, as well as network together and collaborate. So definitely reach out. Don't do this thing alone, and we would love to connect with you. So I hope that you enjoy this wild journey. So peace, love, and plants, and watch one of these videos next. Thank you. Bye.